Right, today in my hands I'm testing the XXIO 12 driver. So these drivers are super interesting. I actually have gamed one of these in the 10, which I've gamed all three of Cleveland Strickland's XXIO drivers, but the 10 is the one I kind of often levitate back to. You'd have seen me playing this one. This one has a 47 gram shaft, and that's why I levitate back towards it, because it just feels really light and it's also counterbalanced. Now the XXIO 12 has a 41 gram shaft in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how fast I can swing this club, and it's something that I want you guys and girls to think about at home when it comes to shaft weight. Are you all getting it very wrong? And if you go and look at your drivers now, maybe in the comments down below, let me know what weight of shaft is in your club. You're going to find it's probably near 60 grams. Now I'm going to swing the club around 110. I've got a batch of shots which I'll show you in a second. Let's see what happens when I put a lighter shaft in my hands. Now I ain't going to get the numbers I need because I've only got a 9.5. It's a fixed neck to head driver. I would need this to be nearer down 8 degrees. So the ball numbers aren't going to be right because this club isn't right for me. We're talking about the 41 gram shaft counterbalance in relationship to this head and what it could do for you. So here's a batch of around 25 drives, spinning at 2.2, carrying 2.78 and ball speed 1.58, and I'm spinning the club here, look at 110. These are good numbers for me. This is my fit driver. It actually isn't my XXIO 10 numbers. It's numbers with another brand of club in a 60 gram shaft, just to show you the comparison between weights of shafts and what it does to me. I'm going to hit some now. I'm going to show you the numbers. I'm going to try and hit them as hard as I was trying to hit those. The comments down below. What would you do with a light shaft in your hand? How would you react to it, do you think? Is there going to be possibilities of me getting more speed? What do you think? Let me know. So we're going to see high spinning drives. I caught that at the bottom. I'm delivering 20 degrees of loft. I can't control the loft on this club. I would need it to be down near 8, possibly even 7, but they probably don't make it in a 7. Because if we look at some of the tech in this club, you're going to see it's really aimed maybe at golfers who are looking for as much help as they can. You know, it's an extreme club and it's not really made for me. It's more I want you to see what happens to lighter shafts, for you guys to consider maybe getting much lighter drivers than might be in your bags at the moment. So again, it's a nice gaming shot. It's going to hit target, but it's going to lose a little bit of distance. So you can see the wing that is mentioned here, which I think was going to make very little difference for you to actually measure and see in. We've got the silver face. Blue top sits nice down by the ball. It's a deep head, lots of setback weight. It feels very stable as you hit the ball. Again, it's just too much loft for me. Sounds solid. It's got quite a highish pitch ting. You know, it makes plenty of noise. But again, for someone maybe a bit slower swing speeds, the fact that it makes more noise, I think is a good thing, because you might not be making that much noise yourself as such. It definitely feels light. I mean, it doesn't feel, because I'm used to light and I actually respond quite well to light. And this is why it's so important that you do your own test. Because light clubs, there are a few benefits and I do benefit from them. Like I do feel like I can get more speed, which we'll show you. You give this club to someone like Matt, who generates a lot of speed in itself. Lighter shafts, he doesn't actually swing any faster than heavier. They kind of the same, and he just feels less stable with them. So again, this is why it's so important you go and test yourself. The bigger question, I would put a bet out there, without obviously doing a study, I would guess, and I'd put some money on it, that over 60% of the audience watching this video have a far too heavy a driver, off the rack heavy driver, because there's other benefits to having lighter clubs as well. So one of the things I noticed with my 10 is that we do a lot of trips where we play a lot of golf in very short amounts of time. If I'm getting a little bit tired, I can really start to feel 60 gram shafts and heavier clubs, where with my lighter one at 47, I just feel like I can keep going for longer. It's anecdotal, but it's something I feel. I definitely notice it. We often get up at 2, 3 in the morning, and we're playing in the afternoon in some foreign country. And again, having that lighter club does make me feel like I can still get a bit of a whoosh. You know, it feels like I can whoosh it through still. And the counterbalanceness of the shaft as well is something I'm really enjoying. I've got that in 2 of the drivers, so Cleveland and the XXIO drivers I've had and gained between have that counterbalance, it does make the other end again feel lighter, like I can start to move it. So we're going to hit one more. I can see that's 111, which is a little quicker. I've not looked at all of them. That one's out there a bit more, so obviously the numbers were better on that one. And let's see what potential speeds there are from using lighter for me. 41 grams. I know Mizuno have got a 41 gram shaft in one of their heads, and we tried this, me and Matt, and it was so interesting to see the difference between the two of us. Again, do you respond to lighter shafts? I reckon most of you haven't tried anything near this weight of shaft, so you won't know. Something to consider maybe in your next tests. Right, let's just show you those. That's me trying to hit. I've hit one loose toe and the rest in a nice batch. And then I'm going to hit a few at the end, a little again, to see how, I mean, can I get this up to like 115, something like that. So if we look at the two, you can see here that the ball speeds are the same, because you got to remember I'm not presenting the same, that's where the launch is different, the same lofts, and then the spin is wrong. So that is very much my lack of control of this loft. So you give me this in a 7 or an 8 degree, and you're going to see those numbers come much closer. And we'll talk about the possibilities of that and why maybe golf still struggles. Even this company, even XXIO, still maybe struggling because they're so on the fringes of weight, as in extreme, what lots of people don't want to test, that maybe all the options aren't there that we need. And the other thing as well with these numbers is I can bring these down. I can bring this down to this, but I have to do stuff, and I don't want to have to do stuff. I can make these clubs perform the same. I just don't want to have to. And then again, look and turn how much distance I lose because the launches aren't there, but the potential for speed, if I match the other parts, it's 2 mile an hour club head speed difference and maybe 1 to almost crossing over on standard deviation. So it's really close, but there's definitely a little bit more speed edging out of the lighter shaft. You can see the loft at 17 average to 20. Strike's almost the same. So it shows you two things. It shows you the importance of fitting. So I lose performance because the fitting isn't correct, but I gain performance because the design around the light shaft, the counterbalance, and the head are better. So the bigger question is, why can't I get this fit in a 7 degree? Like, that's kind of what I want. And for lots of you, you're going to find that you've probably got 50, 55, 60 gram shafts. You've probably been commenting down below. I'll try and take a look at the comments in this one to see where you are. And to be fair, if you look at the average distances of different handicaps here, I'll put them up here. These are the averages. I know there's outliers, so don't you feel that person going, well, I play off 15 and I hit 300 yards. That's fine. You're an outlier. You're not in the average. People aren't hitting the ball far enough. And if people aren't hitting the ball far enough, why are they using heavier equipment? Apart from they feel they can control it better, and that's cool, I get that. People put lighter shafts in the hands, it feels wobbly, they don't feel like they can control the face. That is all fine. There's no point losing directional abilities just to make this go faster. But if you've got the potential of 2-3 mile extra mile an hour out of the club from a lighter shaft, I mean 2 to 3 yards carry per mile an hour, 3 mile an hour, 6 yards extra carry. I mean 6 yards out of carry from a head to head, apart if they're like for like, as in, you know, from different brands' heads, it's just not there. This is a potential to gain. Counterbalancing lighter equipment, I do reckon a lot of you could benefit. Right, let's give it a go now. I'm going to do one more batch. Well, how fast do you reckon I can go? Do you reckon I can get this to 116? What do you reckon in the comments down below? Bearing in mind I'm 110 to 112. 116 is going to be a bit of a push. Oh, we're 114 to kick us off. Get on 13.8, otherwise known as 114. 116, can I? Oh, 114, come on, step it up. Ah, 112. It's always so great with trying to hit faster and speed training ideas. Sometimes you feel like you put loads more in and it's actually a little bit slower. It's very tough to get that speed out at the right time. You've got split seconds to do it. All right, 114 max so far, back to 113. Have I peaked and going the wrong way? 115, come on! So 115.3, decent strike, 5 up, too much loft, which then in turn is getting a spin at 2.9, which is why it's a pretty average carry for the amount of ball speed 165 I've got. Think about these speeds with some dialed in numbers. The problem is down at this end, there's not as much dialing in maybe as there could be. It is ego just stopping you all hitting the ball a little bit further. Sometimes I think it might well be. 115 we were, 115 again, right, 116, here we go, just one more go. That is not hitting the range. That's gonna hit the side. Yep, that's a little bit of a toey draw. All right, see if I can strike it. 115, here we go, 116. Here we go, big turn. 114, but a much better shot. I concentrated more on the shot with speed, where the shot before was just pure speed, nothing else. Again, 164 ball, which is quick for me. Definitely there's potential to be had. Can't wait to hear what shafts are in your drivers and how many of you have actually tested lighter clubs, and are you able to let go of the feel of it feeling light and wobbly, or does that just play on your mind? Right, one more, 116. 116! Yes, please. Going no further. 115.9, that's 116. Not a bad strike. 5 up, 21 loft, free spin. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's like massive potential. 6 mile an hour club head speed potential there, which I would argue is around 4 mile an hour, as if I'm hitting one of the other clubs with the other, you know, with the original numbers at that kind of pace. I reckon you'd be around 112. Lighter shafts, lighter clubs, bit of counterbalance. I'm loving that for people who want more speed and are maybe not putting the speed in themselves. It's something I'd be so interested in more people trying and letting me know how you get on with it. I just think it's something that people aren't often thinking about or given. And to be fair, I say people without speed, maybe it's people with speed can benefit from it as well. Like if you gave me that in a 7-degree loft, I would consider that. And I do, I use an 8-degree in a 47 gram. So I'm already dabbling in that field, and I do find the benefits over 18, 36 holes, certainly with fatigue playing in. Let me know your thoughts. XXIO, it's certainly not cheap, but when it comes to lightweight equipment that might perform, I'm not sure anyone else is really tapping this little light niche up at all. Let me know what you think.